Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, today we're going to be talking about 10 things that you're going to outgrow on your spiritual journey. A lot of things that are going to be on this list are definitely things that you've already been experiencing or stuff that you will be experiencing soon if you've just been actively becoming more in tune with your spiritual journey. Because let's, remember, we're all on a spiritual journey, whether we want to be not obvious, whether we want to accept it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. We're all on a spiritual journey of some sort. We're all being led forward to learn something about ourselves, to be shown something different about ourselves, no matter what that may look like. So I think it's really important to just be aware of the things that you're going to outgrow, and just knowing that you're not crazy, knowing that you're not doing too much, because it's easy to feel like that when you're on your spiritual journey. You've had a few awakenings or even one awakening, and you just are starting to feel differently about things. And that means everything, is starting to change, for you in terms of how you perceive those things. So it's always good to just kind of be aware of what you can expect to outgrow. So when you do see yourself, getting out of those spaces, you'll feel a lot better, and you'll just be able to, find comfort in that, instead of asking yourself, like, am I the problem? Am I doing something wrong? Because of course, there's a lot of self-awareness that comes with any spiritual journey. But if you're trying to be healthy and you've been living a life that's been unhealthy, chances are 100% of your lifestyle has to change. Like when people are alcoholics and they're getting sober, when people are changing how they eat and, work out and stuff, when people are becoming parents, when you want to step into a new thing, everything is going to change. You're going to change 100%. So a spiritual journey is going to result in a change across the board. It's going to result in you becoming a completely different person. And that's what we want. We want to be the healed version of ourselves, or as close to that person as we can be. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Thank you guys for being here in advance. I hope you guys are feeling great. Thank you for being here. As always, you guys can follow me on Instagram. You can follow the marketing page if you're a business owner, and Faded Counsel if you just want daily spiritual messages. You can see where to book with me and follow me and keep in touch with me and everything and then some, all down below. Get into the self-led tarot course, get into the releasing sessions and the 60-minute sessions and the mentorships and the booking site revamps and the content packages and everything. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the video, guys. 10 things that you can expect to outgrow on your spiritual journey. Now, I went ahead and took some notes because I know y'all love a numbered list. So the first thing, surface level friendships. I feel like this one is kind of obvious because those friends where you guys can't really grow together or heal or even have real conversations, even relate to each other as actual human beings outside of the masks that we wear for everybody, outside of just going out and having a good time and, talking about what other people got going on and talk about this man or this woman or whatever. It's like, how can we, get to the substance that we're looking for? Something I always hear people say in readings with me and in the comments under these videos, that they don't have anybody else to talk to about this type of stuff. They can't have real conversations with anybody. So one of the first things I feel you're going to outgrow are relationships and situations that are centered around that. And I'm glad that I made the analogy in the beginning of the video of like an alcoholic becoming sober or someone wanting to change their lifestyle, because you're not going to keep those same friends that used to do that same stuff that you were doing if they're still in that lifestyle, if that's still what they like. Choosing to have a more spiritual approach to life is really just about choosing to let your spirit control you as much as possible and denying your flesh. It's a very holy pursuit. For those of us who are religious, we're striving to be like Christ. We're striving to love people even though they judge us and hate us. We're striving to, not take our anger out on others. We're striving to address ourselves first, go to God first, not be influenced by the world to do things that are just going to hurt us instead of actually heal us. We're trying to live differently. You want more out of life than just what you can get in the standard package. You want to know more about life and know more about yourself, and you want to feel better. You want to deal with generational trauma and anxiety and depression and spiritual demons that you've been fighting your entire life, whether that is, a fear of failure, a fear of poverty, insecurity, self-doubt, a lack of faith, hopelessness, whatever that may be. A spiritual approach to life, stepping on a spiritual journey is just about being aware of the inconsistencies between the human part of you and the spiritual part of you, and trying to align the human part of you as much as you can with the spiritual part of you. So this means thinking before you say stuff. This means apologizing. This means forgiveness. This means letting go of jealousy and anger and, grudges. It means just taking a different approach to life, taking an approach to life where you're humble, where you're not driven by material things, you're not driven by stuff that really doesn't matter. You're driven by, love and service and becoming the best version of yourself and your purpose. It's a totally different mindset. That's why people always say you're crazy. And with that new mindset, you're going to recognize that a lot of the people that you used to have as friends, if they're not on that same wave, you're going to be talking a completely different language, and it is so different. So surface level friendships, that's going to be one of the first things that you outgrow, because when you change yourself and you're having different conversations, you're looking at things differently, it's going to be so clear to you how you don't want to think like you used to think. Once you stop thinking like that, it's going to be so clear to you to be like, wow, what can I do to make sure that this isn't the path that I'm taking? Because I don't want to think like this or feel like this or operate like this, It's a really good face-to-face moment that you can have with yourself in those spaces. Next, unhealthy connections. This is kind of similar to the first one, but not necessarily. Unhealthy connections. This could be an unhealthy connection to social media, to a certain substance. It could be vaping. It could be an unhealthy connection as people in your family. It could be a toxic ex. It could be an unhealthy relationship between you and anything. You and money. You and rest. You and your past. You and your fears, you and anything, unhealthy connections, things where you put you in the equation and you add something else and it leads to something that you don't like. Anything that fits into that, anything that X variable, is equal to, those are the things that keep us up at night. Those are the things that stop us from being who we really need to be, because they create triggers in our lives. They make us afraid. They make us doubt ourselves. Those are things that make us kind of stagger when we're feeling good and we're getting into our groove. We come across one of those things and it's like, okay, this is a weakness of mine, obviously, because look at how I'm reacting to it. So those things, that's going to be something else that you outgrow. People that put you in those spaces, situations that put you in those spaces, anything that that's going to make you feel unhappy or just make you miserable. Like, is that the next one? That's the next one. Let's get into number 3, suffering for nothing. Okay, these two things go together, suffering for nothing. Before you start your spiritual journey, we tolerate so much because we don't really think it matters that much. I think starting a spiritual journey for me is about recognizing how important I am, to God, to my purpose, to the people that I'm supposed to be connecting with. I'm so important. I can't afford to let anybody mess up my energy, mess up my life, mess up my mind, mess up how I'm feeling, make me insecure, make me doubt myself, make me hate myself, make me question myself, make me turn my back on myself. I can't afford to be around anybody that's going to make me feel like that. I can't afford to be around anybody that's going to make me feel like that. Because I have to be in a space where I can trust myself no matter what, where I have I can take my best foot forward and move forward in a great position, in a great space no matter what. I don't want to have to deal with a bad relationship just because. I don't want to have to deal with, friends who don't like me. I don't want to have to deal with, stuff that just doesn't serve me. I don't want to suffer for nothing. I'm not going to suffer for nothing. And also, we realize that suffering is a part of the journey. On your spiritual journey, you realize like, damn, shadow work is hard. Forgiveness is hard. Loving myself is hard. Having a conversation with myself in the mirror is hard. Thinking about my inner child trauma is hard. The spiritual work that we have to do is hard. It's hard work. So why am I making myself suffer with bad relationships, bad friendships, hating myself, not liking my habits? Why am I making myself suffer? Why am I willingly stepping into spaces that are going to beat me down and make me second guess myself? Why? It makes you start to question, why am I doing this? Because this is how this makes me feel. So why am I continuing to do this? Like, what am I getting out of this? How can I change this? Being on a spiritual journey should make you realize that you don't deserve suffering. You don't deserve pain. You don't deserve to be in a space where you're not comfortable. You don't deserve that. And even when we're in a space of a lesson, the lesson is that you don't deserve it, because there's a reason that we accept, those spaces. There's a reason that we say yes and we get into those different spaces. Then later down the line, we have to come full circle and be like, oh, this is why I shouldn't have said yes. Oh, this is why I should have thought a little bit before I, really got into this relationship. Oh, this is why I was, having that hesitant feeling that I wasn't really, sure of, You also are able to recognize what's a good challenge and what's a bad challenge. with a good challenge, with a good lesson, with something that's going to help you, and with something that's just going to play you like a fool, like you've been played like a fool before. Whatever that may mean. It could be a friend that approaches you the same way that the last fake friends approached you, or a partner that approaches you the same way the last abusive partner did. Or it could be a job offer that offers you a whole bunch of money, but they tell you a little bit in the beginning. And the last time you got a job that offered you a whole bunch of money and you didn't ask no questions because you was money hungry, you was miserable, you ended up having to leave a job, you was broke for a long time, and you end up stepping into the same thing. We have to realize, like, okay, this is something for me to learn and grow, or this is a test for me to walk away from it. So when you realize that, there's a purpose for everything, it's like, I'm not going to make myself suffer when I know I got a test on the way anyway. I know I have a trial or a tribulation on the way. So why am I going to put myself through this voluntarily for nothing? This isn't even my test. I'm making myself struggle today, but I wasn't even supposed to struggle today. I'm not even up for a test for the next couple of weeks. But I'm skipping ahead to this test just because I want something. And a lot of those situations are to show you yourself. On this spiritual journey, you're going to show yourself a lot. So it's so important that you're giving yourself that self-love and just giving yourself so much grace for even being on this journey, because it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and recognize certain things that you do and say and feel about yourself and about the world and about the people in it. It's hard to face those realizations, but it's between you and God. That's the beauty of the spiritual journey. It ain't nobody's business what you've been holding in, but yours and God, okay? If you feel called to have a conversation with somebody, if that's your ministry, then okay, cool. But you don't have to do that. You can literally handle your situations internally with yourself and God, and mind your business and keep it pushing. You'll realize that suffering for nothing, girl, please, we don't have time for that, okay? Let's get into it. Gossip and drama. Gossip and drama. This is number 4. Gossip and drama is so pointless. It's so purposeless. It's so draining and exhausting and frustrating, and there's no reason for it. And if you have spaces where there's a lot of gossip and drama going around, you're going to want to separate yourself from that. If that's family, coworkers, even if your partner spends all their time talking about other people, you're not going to want to have anything to do with that. Social media platforms where all they do is talk about gossip, and you look at the comments and it's nothing but gossip and terrible stuff that they're saying, you're not going to want any part of that. You're not going to want any part of that, and it's going to bother your spirit. It should. And if it's not, then you need to look a little bit more into your word, look a little bit more into your meditation. If you still following the shade room and that stuff don't bother you, if you still looking at certain stuff online, if you can look at baddies, and if you can look at people just destroying each other and treating each other terrible, and that makes sense to you, okay? If you don't have to watch that every now and then to get your little taste of the trash and then move away to something else more constructive, then you need to get a little more into your work, because that kind of stuff should bother you. Now, I get it. We all human. Every now and then we might want a little love and hip hop, and ain't nothing wrong with that every now and then in moderation, because we're human, I guess. But you don't want to consume that all the time. Like, that's okay. And you should definitely outgrow that type of entertainment, that type of energy. You should outgrow that. Very nasty. You should outgrow that. The next thing, number 5, letting grudges spoil your spirit. And I use the word spoil on purpose. When we hold on to grudges and stuff before our spiritual journey, or before we start to think differently, we feel like, this is how I'm getting my revenge, by never letting this person sleep good. You ain't gonna ever sleep good as long as I'm living, because I'm never gonna let this go. What make you think they're not sleeping good? What make you think that you holding on to that is gonna make karma get them any faster? What make you think that you control karma? Like, on your spiritual journey, you realize that there's no point, just like I said, suffering for nothing. You realize that there's no point in holding on to anger, and you realize how much it affects you. You realize how much it affects you. And if you've been struggling with grudges because you want to let it go, because you realize how it's affecting you, but at the same time you want to hang on because you still want justice, you need to do some releasing work, write some letters to those people, burn it, get it off your chest, really do some work about what those things made you feel and how you can, repair those inner wounds so you can move forward. Because we all have situations where we know we got to forgive somebody and we don't want to. And we are dreading the day where we have to let it go. But eventually we all have to let it go. So realizing that type of stuff spoils your spirit, makes you jealous, makes you hate people, makes you hate yourself, makes you hate your surroundings, that type of stuff, you do not want to start planting those types of seeds into your energy. So you really want to be mindful of letting grudges spoil your spirit. You're definitely going to be, just ready to let stuff go. You might even struggle with yourself a little bit, like, dang, I'm letting this go already. But you should be able to let stuff go and move forward. That's how you protect your peace. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Your peace. The next thing that we have is limiting mindsets. So this is definitely a big one. When you start your spiritual journey, you should really start to believe that anything is possible. You should let go of those limiting limited mindsets. Now, this is something that it might take years for us to outgrow on our spiritual journey, but we just have to remember that the spiritual journey is an everyday thing. You cannot let like your negative beliefs and your negative thoughts creep up on you and knock you down. You cannot. You have to actively be coaching yourself to think differently and feel differently. And if you're not doing that, you're going to constantly be on the roller coaster of doing good and then getting disappointed by life and then falling off and then pushing yourself to do good. And it takes a long time to do good again once you fall off, because you got to deal with shame. You got to deal with guilt. And then once you get back into it again, something happens and you fall back off, so we have to be able to recognize that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to fall off. It's okay to not always have a good day. But I have to always get up as strong as I did that first time. I can't keep letting these letdowns let me get up weaker and weaker, because that's how you lose your drive and your will and your motivation over time. And that's not what we want. And on your spiritual journey, that should be something that you're working to heal and let go of actively. You should be dreaming bigger or thinking bigger. People should be telling you, girl, those ideas are crazy. You really think you're going to do that? You sure you thinking about doing that? No matter what you want to do, no matter what you want for yourself, it should start to seem believable. It should start to seem like you're one step away from stepping into it, because you really are. You really are. That is the beauty of it. You always are one step away from the next space that you're supposed to be stepping into. And when you're on your spiritual journey, it lets you feel that and see that tenfold. Next, this is going to be a little of a drag. Lackluster intimacy. This is friends not giving you what you need, partners not giving you what you need, specifically friends and partners, because I feel like those are some of the most intimate relationships we have. Lackluster intimacy. People not serving you, people not giving you what you want, you walking away just feeling like, you're going to outgrow those types of situations so fast. Like stuff that you used to accept and used to be okay with, your standards are going to rise and elevate. So if you feel like nobody is enough for you, if you start to feel like maybe I'll just be alone forever, if you start to feel like maybe I won't have a big group of friends ever, don't feel bad about that. Feel good about being selective, because the more selective you are, the better you'll be able to choose. And like when you're a collector, you collect over time. Collect good people over time. Collect good love over time. Collect good connections over time. Don't feel like you got to have the 12 people around you right now. You don't have to have a bunch of people around you right now. You're going to be letting go of the relationships that you have just to have people around you. If you have people around you just to have them around you, this is going to be the season where you're like, you know what? Bye. What you here for? Bye. This is going to be the season where you're like, you know what? I don't want nobody that's just here to be here. I want to get something out of these relationships, and get more every time. I want relationships that keep serving me and keep growing as I keep growing and evolving. So you should definitely be very, very turned off from lackluster intimacy in relationships and friendships. You should definitely be turned off in romantic relationships and in friendships. Stuff that you used to let slide, letting people have their way and holding your tongue and not speaking up for yourself. It's time's up for that. That should be stuff that you let go completely so you can step into your next season. Okay. Next one, bad jobs. Okay. This kind of just ties into everything. Stuff that don't serve you. A bad job where you're paying with your time and your energy and your life literally for pennies or even a lot, and you're treated bad. Going home, crying at work, having your work affect you mentally and spiritually. No, guys. No. Like, I feel like that's one of the biggest burdens of a lot of people that start their spiritual journey. And some of us are still battling with that, because we need certain things to survive, because of course, capitalistic world, wherever you live in, we need money to survive. So it's like, yes, I need this money to survive, but like I hate it here. And this makes me hate waking up, and I wake up and I'm drained already before I got to bed. Like, nobody needs to live like that. And that's why so many people retire and they die right after, because they don't know what to do with themselves. They've worn themselves thin with all the anxiety and the sadness they've dealt with over the years. Like bad jobs, things where you're trading your life for money, for possessions that will never really satisfy you. That type of thing is evil. And that's why so many, like, that's such a nasty exchange. It's like trading your gold and your diamonds for somebody to like spit on your feet to keep your feet moisturized because it's dry outside. That's literally how it is. Because that's all that money is doing. The money isn't solving nothing. We're still toe up. The money and job isn't giving us anything. The insurance benefits not even getting nothing, because the hospital get to say if they want your insurance or not. It means nothing, but we have to have it. We have to have it for whatever reason. That's the rules of the book. And that type of stuff will not serve you. And I think that so many people on their spiritual journey, of course you want to start your own business. Of course you want to get from under the thumb of, the government. And of course, give yourself time to do that. and do it. Whatever you want to do, even if it means getting a job somewhere else, even if it means whatever it means, find whatever you need to do to make sure you can sustain yourself practically. But you're definitely going to outgrow bad jobs. You're definitely going to outgrow exchanging the best things that you have to give, your time, your energy, and your life, for something that is not serving you. Okay, next, hiding from emotions. This is definitely a really big one, hiding from emotions. So if you're the type of person where you don't let yourself feel, you just shut yourself off, you don't let yourself be open to what you're experiencing, this is going to be times up for that. Hiding from your emotions. This is about being in a space where you don't let yourself feel. You put yourself in a space where you feel and you just want to stuff it down, but you're not going to be able to run from that on your spiritual journey. Like, you'll literally wake up crying, like something will hit you randomly, because you're allowing yourself to be more open to spiritual energy and spiritual insight. And spiritual things and emotional things are tied in so closely together, we can't separate one from the other. So we have to recognize, like, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm experiencing this is cool, but where is this going? What's the next step? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not too comfortable here. But we're going to be challenged to figure out how we can be comfortable in those spaces, and figure out what we can do to make it work, no matter what space that we're in. No matter how we're feeling, we always want to be able to face that and hold ourselves and love ourselves and give ourselves a safe space to feel. So something you'll definitely gain on your spiritual journey is a safe space to feel, and you want to be giving yourself that 110%. You're very, very worthy of it. You want to give yourself a safe space to feel. Hiding from your emotions is definitely going to be something you're going to have to hang up, because those emotions are going to be beating you down. Every full moon, prepare for it. Every Mercury retrograde, prepare for it. Like, stuff is going to be affecting you way more. You're not crazy, okay? Just be prepared for it and have the tools that you need to help yourself navigate through those things. And the last thing is denial from the truth. Denial from the truth is the last thing. I always say that ignorance is bliss, and once we step in our spiritual journey, we are no longer ignorant. You can no longer hide from, oh, that's what they doing. Maybe they not. Like, no, girl, this is what they doing. You see it in black and white. It's right here. Like, you'll have a dream that's like, hey, this is what they're doing. Or you'll ask yourself, like, Lord, give me a sign. Let them wear a blue shirt. And they'll wear a blue shirt for 3 months straight. Like, you can't hide from the signs, and you can't deny the truth. And a lot of people are just distracting themselves from the truth. Most people are distracting themselves from the truth of their feelings with money, with sex, with drugs, with entertainment, with whatever they can. Other responsibilities, with whatever they can. But on your spiritual journey, you lose that privilege of being able to blind yourself. You can't be blind no more. You're met with the truth every single time you step into anything. You're met with the truth at the front door. And it's up to you to figure out what you want to do with that. And I think that's such a gift, being able to be granted with the truth, but it is a big responsibility, because now you have to act on it. Now you have to do something about it. And if you're not ready to, it can definitely be something that kind of throws you off and makes you question yourself or second guess yourself, because it is a really big responsibility to trust and know that the truth is worth it. It's worth cutting the people off and being by yourself. It's worth it to live in your truth. And you deserve your truth to be told. I think it's easier to feel like, oh, it doesn't matter what I want. It's okay. You don't even feel that way anymore when you're on your spiritual journey, or you shouldn't. You should feel like your truth and who you are authentically deserves to be told and showed 110%. So yes, guys, those are 10 things that you can expect to outgrow on your spiritual journey. Let me know where you are in your spiritual journey down below in the comments, and what are some things that you've been navigating with and working to release. I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you felt about everything in the comments. Again, if you want to book with me, follow me on Instagram. Check out all of the links and everything down below in the description box. I love y'all, and I will see you guys next time. As always, bye guys. Bless.